All right, good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Monday to everybody. Today is the official, real start to the college football season. Although we're still a good 6 weeks away from kickoff, we start today out with the SEC Media Days. I think the ACC Media Days start in midweek this week. So, what are my thoughts on the Media Days? So right now, by the time this video posts, I'm recording this early in the morning. The media days don't really start till I think around 10:30 a.m. today. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe the first coach to speak at media days for the SEC today will be Jimbo Fisher. My favorite new guy to hate. Now, I'd never really liked him in the first place. I did give him credit for being a great coach at Florida State, but since he was at Florida State, obviously I don't like Florida State and I didn't like him. Now, what will I be looking for from Jimbo Fisher? We'll start with him since he's coming on first. We'll expect a lot of fast-talking nonsense. Now, what I would like to see, but probably won't happen because these mainstream sports reporters have no balls at all. Maybe one reporter might have some balls and bring this up. I hope they do. But if you go on YouTube, I'm sure it's on YouTube. That's probably where I saw it. Go back and watch the ACC Media Days last year with Jimbo Fisher. And there's a whole segment on there about him addressing why he thinks the ACC is as good, or some would say even better, than the SEC in recent years. He goes through all of these stats, talking about wins versus the SEC, head-to-head, national titles. He just all kinds of different things. So now that he's in the SEC, and now that he's in the West, going head-to-head against Saban in that division every year, the same way that he was going head-to-head with Sweeney in the Atlantic division of the ACC, will he change his tune? Will somebody have the balls to bring that up and see how he addresses that? I mean, I don't think that they will. Which brings me to my next point. Not related to Jimbo Fisher, but just to Media Day in general. Now, it is exciting for all of us fans to watch the coach of our team or even of other teams and see what they have to say. This reminds me a little bit of like the NFL Combine does. Well, the NFL Combine might even be more, you get more information out of that because you're actually seeing stuff happen. But the media days really are a lot to do about nothing because these coaches are very guarded for the most part. You might have one or two coaches that says something that's newsworthy, like what Jimbo Fisher was doing last year as far as trashing the SEC. But really, most of them, especially people like Saban, the veterans at this, they're not going to give you any real information. They don't want to give you any real information, right? Nick Saban thinks the media is rat poison. So you're not going to see anything groundbreaking coming out of this. You may hear some of them give some hints into player situations, injuries. I don't expect anything controversial, though. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. So, the quarterback controversy at Alabama. I don't think Nick Saban comes on till Wednesday, I want to say. But anyway, whenever Nick Saban does get up there for his, interview at Media Days, he's going to field a lot of questions about Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa. He's not going to give you a lot of information, folks. He doesn't want to. You can ask him 100 different times, 100 different ways. He doesn't want to give you any information. He's not going to say, oh yeah, well, what I'm planning on doing is starting Jalen Hurts the first 2 games, and then I'm going to take him out and put Tua in. He's not going to tell you that, even if that's what he really plans on doing. So, while it's entertaining, while it's the official start to the season, you're not going to get a whole lot from anybody. Last year was pretty compelling because there was a controversy going on at Ole Miss at the time with Hugh Freeze. It broke right before Media Day, so he had to answer a lot of questions about investigations that the NCAA was doing into Ole Miss. Now, this was like literally a week before the news came out that not only were they buying players, but he was doing personal stuff, buying hookers when he was recruiting down in Florida. So I mean, he's lucky. That news didn't come out before media days. Of course, he wouldn't have been there if it did. They wouldn't have put him in front of a camera. But anyway, so there's not a lot of scandal going on right now. Now, another one I want to look forward to seeing in the SEC mainly, since that's first, is Chad Morris. Now, he won't say a whole lot. I would like to see if he does give any information about the scheme and system he's going to be running in comparison to the personnel that he currently has there. Now, I don't think it takes a genius to figure out he's going to be trying to make a mountain out of a molehill based on the type of offense that he runs and the type of offensive talent that he currently has there. He's going to be piecemealing that thing together and trying to get some wins on the board. I mean, nobody in their right mind expects Arkansas to go out there and win more than 5 or 6 games. And in fact, if they were able to win 5 or 6 games this year, I think that would be impressive. It would be a bright spot in the horizon of good things to come for Arkansas. I still think it takes him 2, 3, maybe even 4 years to get where he needs to go. The other one I'm looking forward to in the SEC, because of all the new coaching changes, those are the real storylines, right? So is Jeremy Pruitt. Will we see? Because they're gonna. I think that he doesn't like dealing with the media. He's sort of the opposite of Dabo Swinney type. I mean, Dabo Swinney, you put him on a podium with a microphone and reporters, and he'll answer questions as long as you're asking him, and he'll give you long-winded answers. He loves talking to the media. He loves it. He'll talk for 4 hours if you let him. I don't get the impression that Jeremy Pruitt is that way at all. So will Jeremy Pruitt, will he get poked and prodded enough to where we see a little bit of that anger come out and he gives some angry type of answers? I don't know. That would be great though. And that's someone I'm looking forward to seeing as well. Also Dan Mullen. I don't think Dan Mullen is going to say anything groundbreaking though. I think he's a pretty guarded guy in that regard. He's going to be Mr. Positive, saying all kinds of positive things about the season and about the roster and blah, 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 blah. Same with Kirby. I mean, Kirby doesn't have anything to say. He may field some questions about the quarterback controversy there, even though there's not a controversy, I don't believe. I believe that everybody thinks that Fromm is the starter until he either loses or gets hurt. So I don't think there's much of a controversy there, and I think Kirby's too smart to fall into any of those media traps, especially since he's been in the spotlight here over the past 12 months. So anyway, I will be probably posting videos based on some of the responses of these coaches if anything newsworthy happens, and certainly, and that's for the SEC, and then certainly if there are any newsworthy items out of the ACC media days coming up, I'm going to clearly respond to after Clemson, after Dabo talks, I'll clearly be doing a video on that, as well as maybe some of the other ones like Willie Taggart, Mark Richt, possibly even North Carolina State's head coach, or even Bobby Petrino out of Louisville. So, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Enjoy Media Days. Pigskin Pete checking out.